OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. It's the Online Sports Guys College Football Podcast where us, the Online Sports Guys, talk about college football. Hence the introduction. With us, as usual, me, OSG Phil, OSG Nelson, Brother Wilkie, Brother Marty. The gang is all here. We've kind of given up on Brother J-Dub.
Yeah, I know. Really? I know.
He showed up for the first, week or 2 weeks, and then hasn't been seen or heard from since.
We did have a puppy pick sighting with him.
That's true.
So there's that.
And it was pretty solid. So we need him to send some more content. We're gonna have to start putting in a box with the milk carton graphic we made.
Yes.
You may have to dock his pay.
Yeah. He's
This video is gonna get tens and tens of views.
ended without pay, J-Dub.
Yeah, there's an old Billy Preston song called "Nothing from Nothing Means Nothing." But I digress. Guys, we got a whole bunch to talk about. Not a whole lot of games, but a lot of stuff. We'll start off with the big news of the weekend. The Heisman Trophy is now official. Your winner, LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels, who put up literally video game numbers this season.
And had to outscore his own defensive issues every single week.
But aside from the video game numbers that he put up, and his rushing and passing yards are pretty impressive, he was the offense for LSU. And LSU in the season, 9-3? You think they would have been 6-6 maybe if he had a mediocre season?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think those his former teammates in Arizona are regretting making that video at the end of the season when he went in the transfer portal?
I would think so.
I'd send him thank you letters for packing my bags because it worked out well.
Yes.
Yeah, and props to him. I mean, he was good last year for LSU on their 11-1 team. He's gotten even better. His accuracy improved markedly this season. You could see it. Him and Malik Neighbors were a great connection for the Tigers. The problem they had, like you said, they couldn't stop anybody. And at the end of the day, that's kind of a little bit of a problem. But
well, there were games where Jaden Daniels had to just do it all himself.
Yeah.
Because all the keys that the opposing defense were putting on the other skill players. So he had to do it all himself. And it's almost as if the Heisman Trophy committee got it right this time as far as who's the most deserving player. Because Michael Penix, he's having a special year, and so is the Huskies. Bo Nix the same way. They got a lot of pub. Jaden Daniels, really, he got pub, but he wasn't up on that pedestal with Penix and Bo Nix this year. But he was on the periphery, but his name would be brought up like as an aside, almost like, well, by default, it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to win, and he did.
Nix and Penix canceled each other out on the West Coast, I think. Anything west of the Mississippi, I'm fairly certain that Michael Penix and Bo Nix, that split that vote, as we've seen like in the Emmys and other things like that. If you have two actors from the same television show that are in a category, they kind of cancel each other out. And so I think that anything west of the Mississippi involving Michael Penix and Bo Nix, I think that split that vote. And it meant that everybody east of the Mississippi was going to be voting Jaden Daniels, and you probably got some of the Southwest as well. But no, I think that Jaden Daniels, they got it right. Now, if we could only have the Heisman folks in charge of the CFP, we might actually get something done.
Yeah, special shout out to Penix as well. I don't know if you guys saw
that was an amazing suit coat.
Yes, it was. I'm not sure I could pull it off though.
He won the red carpet.
Yes, he did.
But can we please get Desmond Howard off that broadcast?
Can we get Desmond Howard off TV, period?
You have Pollock, who's a class act, on TV, off TV, in person, on the air, and they keep the guy that keeps making embarrassing statements during what is supposed to be an award ceremony. When was the last time he didn't do that?
Did you guys see Gino Torretta?
No.
Gino Torretta and Desmond Howard won the Heisman in back-to-back years.
Huh?
And one of these things are not like the other.
Well, but just that Gino has lived an absolutely hard life ever since. And I mean, you would not compute that they are in their early 50s. I mean, Gino's been living a life, I'll tell you that. But I mean, Dez has some fantastic makeup artists and great skincare. And the picture's out there, by the way. But yeah, you would not know that Gino Torretta was the year after Desmond Howard 31 years ago. You would not.
One guy got tackled a lot. The other guy ran out of bounds a lot.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, true.
That is absolutely true. Yes, I will stipulate and grant you that one. Yes, sir. But no, they got it right. And you look at just you wonder one committee getting something right, so getting it correct so correctly, and then you look at other committees and it absolutely just drives you crazy when it comes to college football.
Well, it's just it doesn't. I don't think the Heisman Trophy is as let's just say directed by the network that owns them as much. I think they have a backbone where the CFB playoff committee is just at the mercy of the 4-letter word.
Their program director is the 4-letter.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was
ends of the spectrum.
Right. I thought it was interesting when you looked at how the top 4 finished. Obviously, Marvin Harrison had to be in the top 4, but the late votes for Michael Penix, because we always it always seemed like it was between Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, and Penix was probably 3rd or 4th. And then obviously he made an impression on the late voters with his Pac-12 championship performance. And that put him in 2nd place. And he was getting a bump the last few weeks of the regular season into the championship weekend. So that's the one thing that kind of surprised me when I looked at the vote tally of the late votes coming in for Michael Penix over Bo Nix. But I'm sure there were some splits there, as John indicated. But that to me was kind of interesting how that played out. But the right guy won it.
Yeah, they might need to take stock of who they're letting vote on this. I was looking at one sheet and some moron voted JJ McCarthy as number 1 on their ballot. This is the same JJ McCarthy that went a month, 30 days without throwing a touchdown pass. He doesn't belong on that. He doesn't even belong in that conversation with those guys. Now, granted, he's only been playing for 3 years, unlike the other guys that have been playing for 6, which, that's a legit argument a lot of people have with the Heisman is like, you got some guys that have only played 2 years or 3 years. Then you got other guys that have been, working on their master's degree.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, though, at least this one's a little bit free from influence by high-paying broadcast partners.
Oh yeah, when was the last time we had a Heisman winner that wasn't in the current playoffs?
Or lost 3 games.
Yeah. And speaking of that, before we get on to Army, Navy, and some college football bowl picks, still more fallout, still more discussion. The argument hasn't ended when it comes to the college football playoff. I found it kind of laughable that the Florida State politicians now want to get involved with.
Stop it.
It's done.
Stop. I mean, I know you see senators who have no business with their nose in the conversation. Once again, we had this with attorneys general. We had it with an attorney general in the state of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what happened the week after the attorney general from the state of Virginia poked his nose into James Madison. They lost. Anyone from the state of anyone from the state of Florida that wants to poke their nose into this whole thing, we got a game coming up. If you're a Florida State fan, alum, or what have you, you don't want to suffer the same fate, even though we're a 2-touchdown underdog to Georgia anyway. I'm just saying, you don't want that same kind of thing to work its way through. Stop wanting to pull 7 figures from a university budget just so you could fund your feet stomping and pitch fitting.
Oh no, that's called playing it's called the cheap pop playing to the crap.
It is. All they are doing is trying to get a free commercial.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell the difference between a free kick and a fair catch.
No.
All they're doing is trying to get their name in the paper so they get free advertising. Just when we thought we were safe from all those ads during election time.
Look at me. I defended your honor.
Look at me.
I'm a hero of the state.
I am defending the honor of this university, so aggrieved in athletics that I, insert politician name here, am supporting fully this particular institution that I probably have no academic tie to. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and see
I'm having visions of Blazing Saddles.
Absolutely, it is. Well, I mean,
I love you,
it's Senator Lepetamine in this case. All right, so I'm scanning quickly. So, okay, so the senator in question, his mascot is a kangaroo, not from the state of Florida. University of Missouri,
Kansas City.
University of
I
Missouri.
thought you were going to say he was from Australia.
No.
UMKC is known as
then
the
he might know
Kangaroos.
about free kicks then.
Yeah, so
They don't have a football program at UMKC, so it's going to. But the Chiefs are there.
Yeah, so UMKC.
It's okay. He doesn't watch football anyway.
Is the senator in question, and the governor in question from said state. I'm just checking to see. Marty.
Yeah, the guy who will remain nameless, who might or might not be trying to run for presidente.
Marty, I'm sorry. He attended your school. And apparently studied history at Yale. So once again, you have these guys who have instantaneous ties to Florida State University sitting there and saying, I want 7 figures so I can complain, or I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to be angry about it. Stop it.
No more names of these jerks. They're just trying to get free advertising.
Absolutely it is. But
I believe the wrestling term would be cheap pop.
I would direct the three of you guys and the rest of our vast listeners to go on Spencer Tillman's Twitter page and see his response, because it was classic. The man can talk, and some of the phrasing there. I'm going to let you guys look at it, it's the best I have heard from a commentary basis of the whole mess with Florida State. Yeah, I mean, this thing is going to continue having legs because, as we mentioned last week, it's, you played your schedule, you won every game, you beat 2 SEC teams. It just reeks of, oh, your star player isn't playing. Sorry, you can't be in the party. It just reeks of that. And, more and more I read into this, the more and more I'm starting to see cracks in the credibility of the college football playoff. I don't know if the 12-team playoff is going to do it. I don't know if adding 12 teams is going to help in that.
There's just going to be more people screwed.
Exactly. More people screwed. If this were, like we said last week, if this were the 12-team playoff, Florida State would not get a bye. A 13-0 team in a Power 5 league, or I guess it would be Power 4 by this time next year, would not get and get a bye, and it just doesn't. It just smells awful.
Let's be honest, it's Power 2.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
Power 2 and a little through.
Yeah, pretty much.
We just drop the names. It's the Fox conference and the ESPN conference, and then after that,
that is more true than the average bear.
I do support that system, which, by the way, we brought up on this podcast in the very first week we started for this season about having basically a Premier League.
Yeah.
Well, and something related and interesting that I read a little while ago. There's some discussion that the college football playoff is going to start rotating networks, possibly to broadcast the game, which would take ESPN out of their dominant role and would allow Fox and anybody else willing to bid on it the opportunity to broadcast the game. Not that it would change who would actually get to play in said game, because it's still at the end of the day a popularity contest.
That's all sounds great, but the highest bidder wins.
Yeah.
And I mean, where's that number going to be? And if Fox came in with a lower number, let's say NBC comes in with a number that's lower, will they still rotate it? I mean, to me, it would have to be an exclusive deal like the NCAA tournament, is with
Oh, yeah.
CBS. And
the
I
NFL does it
can't
with the
I
Super
can't
Bowl.
see it being like the NFL playoffs, where CBS has the AFC and Fox has the NFC, and NBC gets a couple of wild card games, and ESPN gets one. And the one thing they rotate is the Super Bowl. Now I can see them rotating the championship game, but not the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about doing.
Okay.
Army Navy to wrap up the A block.
Yes, I believe so. For those of you who did not watch, that game is almost always exciting and goes down to the wire, and this one was no exception to that rule. For those who did not watch, Army got the win 17 to 10?
11.
No, 17-8.
17-11. Because 11.
11.
Okay, I don't know why. I knew they had a touchdown and the safety at the end of the game. But really, if you watched the fourth quarter, you saw pretty much everything you needed to see.
Well, if you watch the first half,
Okay, if you didn't watch that, pause and go watch it.
Yes, absolutely. You can shuttle it. People have posted it, I'm sure, to your favorite video watching apps. Just go to the fourth quarter, watch the fourth quarter.
because Navy was awful.
Watch the
on
beginning
offense.
just for the exchange of prisoners, which is always funny. I'm not going to give away what they had on their backs, but those were funny.
Well, I mean, Navy had no offense in the first half. Army was dominant. And then Navy discovered the forward pass.
Yes.
Shocking. And when they did that, all bets were off. And that goal line stand at the end just embodies the Army Navy rivalry.
That is
And
football.
That
should
was
be the
football.
That should be the Wikipedia photo for football.
Yeah, it should be. I
For
agree.
those of you who don't know, late in the game, fourth quarter, Navy gets the ball with under a minute and a half to go and drives the ball down the length of the field. I think it was like a 70 or 75-yard drive.
70. It was 73. They started the drive at the 27.
They get the ball inside the 10-yard line with maybe 30 seconds or less to go. 3 straight plays don't get them very far. They get the ball down to the 2-yard line. They go for it on 4th and 2 with just a couple of seconds left in the game. And their version of the tush push got the ball to about 6 inches from the goal line.
A whisker.
I mean, the forward pass, you're down now. I mean, it was 10-3, and you end up with one of the most fortunate defensive bounces ever. I lost my mind when you got Army up 10-3. They start just blitzing the hell out of the quarterback, and you get a fumble that hits the turf, bounces right up into the air, into the arms of the defensive guy, and he goes the distance to make it 17-3.
That was amazing.
You mentioned the forward pass, Wilkie. They went the length of the field in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Right.
Passing the football. And
Exactly. Now let's call a horse here. Army played some really soft pass defense,
and they didn't protect the sideline to try to keep folks in bounds either.
and they didn't get much of a pass rush on. So, but credit Navy. I mean, they took what they had, got down to the goal line, just didn't have the big bodies to be able to push their quarterback in the end zone at the end, and Army comes away with the win. So, to me, it's the embodiment of college football. That one play, as Marty so succinctly said, is football, and it is. But when you just have the 2 military academies going at it like that, it just makes you feel good about the sport. We've talked about the playoff. We've talked about the Heisman Trophy. But when it comes down to it, what we saw against Army Navy is what we miss about the sport.
Zero NIL, 100% heart. They moved it to an NFL stadium, and they put more people in it than the NFL team that plays there does.
Yeah.
NFL teams, what, 2-10?
Although I got to give Belichick credit for the pregame show of him
wearing
pulling out a helmet with a Jolly Roger on the front.
Yes. I
But
mean,
yeah,
go for it, Phil.
you're totally right, Wilkie. And this is really college football at its purest, and what it always
What we
had meant to
miss.
be without the big money influence, without the transfer portal, without all the accoutrement that now goes along with the games, where basically college football now being in the free agency era. This is the game that we grew up with as kids. And yeah, we're kind of a little bit older than some people, but that's what college football was and why it became so important to so many generations of people.
And now they're going to be conference rivals. Army Navy is going to be a conference game next year.
I think it's going to be a non-conference game.
Oh, it is?
I think it's going to remain a non-conference game.
Okay, because of where they're going to put it in the schedule. Basically, they're going to sit there and make sure that everything. But they're both going to be in the American next year. I'm looking forward to the idea, and I'm waiting for them to change their minds on this, where it still is where it is in the schedule. It's a conference game, and then if the heavens open and what have you, that you end up with the championship game of the American being an Army Navy rematch. I would love for that to happen. Just obviously the schedule won't dictate it, but I mean it would be.
I'm having
And
visions
play
of
it
Hulk
before-
Hogan playing guitar.
Yes.
And play it before the Army Navy non-conference game.
No. But I mean, you sit there and you make the allotment for American 1, American 2 would go here and here, but I mean, your bowl paths at that point, but those slots just stay open. And you sit there and it's like, yeah, we'll play again next week. Or you play the conference game, a normal part of the schedule, and figure it out. But you play tomorrow. You play the next day. What you do is you play Army Navy, and then on Sunday you're back at it again at a different stadium, and you play it and you wind up again. They'll be ready to go.
And on that note, boys, I got to run.
All right, be good, my friend.
All right, that's a good way for us to wrap up the first block of the show. When we come back in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking bowl game palooza. That and what you can do to get into those bowl games in college football on a budget. That and more, we return for the second half of the review. You are listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the college football review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with two O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports, do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. You have made it to the second half of the show. And before we get to college football bowl picks and college football on a budget, we want to go through some of the lower level schools in 1AA, Division II, Division III. They're in the midst of their playoff seasons. And if you get a chance to watch, I think it might be worth your time because there's some really good football being played. We'll start with 1AA or the FCS, depending on what you want to call it. First game.
It's always 1AA.
It is always.
Because last time I checked, all levels of football have a championship. So
the Montana Grizzlies get a win over Furman in the quarters.
In OT.
In OT, 35-28.
the fact that this one, I mean, and the highlight in this one is the kickoff return and the poor kicker who was the last man on defense. And it was true kickerdom trying to see that kicker try and stop the much faster kickoff returner in that case.
Did he grasp at air?
I believe there was a banana peel involved.
Yes, there was. So no, you got to give Furman a lot of credit. I mean, they went to a very, very tough place at Washington Grizzly, and they hung with them, took it to free football. But Montana got the Duke, and they're now 12-1.
Number 2 ranked Montana. Shout out to their mascot, Monty.
And moving on to the semifinals. The other 3 quarterfinal games, 2 of which were played in the state of South Dakota. South Dakota State gets the win over Villanova, 23-12.
Top ranked team in the country at South Dakota State, 13-0, 8-0 at home. It is
their machine.
It is the Jackrabbits and everybody else. They have taken over for the Bison, but the Bison got the Duke at South Dakota and beat USD. So it's North Dakota State makes it through. They're 11-3, but yeah, I mean, that's tremendous work by them. And I mean, Idaho.
No, Idaho.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to do that every time.
Absolutely. No, in Albany get the upset win at the Kibbe Dome. Idaho worked their way through. They beat Southern Illinois in the opening round in their first playoff game, and it was one at the buzzer. So Idaho goes in. They were 9-3, but Albany got the Duke on the road. So you got to give the Great Danes of Albany a lot of credit. But yeah, the fact that the Final Four includes some schools from the Dakotas is not a surprise.
2 schools currently. I was really pulling for Villanova. I got to be a homer for them after they took out my team, and my cousin actually played fullback for Villanova back in the day. So unfortunately, he didn't make it through. But I would really like to see a non-Dakota school get into the championship game. It's going to be not too far from here, up in Frisco, Texas. And I just can't believe North Dakota State wasn't even ranked. You're looking at the bracket, and they have no number next to their name, but here they are once again, right in the thick of it.
Absolutely. I mean, so that's it. You look at the 1AA-ness of it all, and great work by them to get stuff done in D2. Colorado School of Mines, the Ore Diggers.
If there is a school that I want swag from, other than the Western Kentucky positional players, it's that school.
That one.
Because
the School of Mines with a 35-7 win, as they are the top seed in that tournament and moved to 14-0 on the season.
Yep, and then they're going to play, and this is another one that's close to Marty because the D2 title game is in McKinney.
Okay, I might have to go there just to get us all something.
Yes, and Harding beat Lenore Ryan in Arkansas 55-14. So it's 1 versus 2. It is chalk and chalk in McKinney. And by the way, for those of you who've never seen the D2 title game in McKinney, Texas, it's at the Independent School District Stadium. It is at the high school stadium that seats over 10,000 folks.
Because in Texas, they just do it bigger.
Correct. And so
face value, those are $20.
Nice.
That is more expensive than some bowl games.
Yeah, true. But CSM and Harding are going to be in McKinney, Texas for the final in D2.
That was cheaper than the parking I paid when I took my niece to go see the women's national team this past week.
There you go. And
that is a good bargain.
And in D3, it is SUNY Cortland, 13-1. They put 49 on the board, and Cruz, they were at 49-7 after 3. They beat Randolph-Macon 49-14. And then North Central goes to Waverly, Iowa, and knocks off Wartburg in a battle of 2 teams that were 13-0. It was one of your puppy picks on the shorts. And we picked the home side. Rowdy picked the home side in Wartburg, and he was wrong. North Central got the Duke.
Okay,
30.
I have to ask this question. Where are both of these schools located?
Wartburg is the home team. They are in Waverly, Iowa. So North Central. Let's find out where North Central.
They are in Illinois.
Naperville, Illinois.
Oh.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Naperville, Illinois, and Waverly, Iowa. So it was somewhat geographically desirable for folks to travel from Naperville, Illinois to Waverly, Iowa. It wasn't the long haul for SUNY Cortland to go to Ashland, Virginia.
I have learned something new today. That means it's going to be a good day.
That was a high scoring game. You might want to look that game up and get it on the rewatch.
Yes. So yes, and we always like to broaden everyone's horizons to make sure that you can see things that you haven't previously seen, that you've been to places you haven't previously been, that you're watching folks you haven't previously watched. And so when we include our friends from the 1AA, the D2, and the D3, that's part of the why.
Adventure.
And now, guys, it's time to do bowl game palooza.
Other adventures that we have.
But we got to mix that in with one of our favorite segments, the one that we like to talk about the most in the second half of our shows over the course of the season, and that's college football and the budget. We're going to combine the two this week.
Yes.
We start bowl week. We're going to go week to week because, quite honestly, there's so many freaking games that it would take us 3 hours to go through the entire bowl roster in one show.
And you want more podcasts, so we're going to stretch this out. And we have a special cup for the bowl edition of Football on a Budget.
Oh, there you go. Very nice.
The lovely Cotton Bowl in Jerry World.
Yes. Well, and so
unlike our friends at ESPN who gave you a 4-hour college football championship selection show, we're not going to do that.
Yes. Speaking of Cotton Bowl, right here, right there, you get your commemorative pin, PIN, for those watching on the video version. Not to be confused with, where is it? Here it is. Hang on. I have, thanks to Marty, I have my commemorative, rather heavy coins from the 85th Classic right here. And there are others that are right here with
sealed for your safety.
Yes, it is sealed for my safety because you don't want
me to. And so you don't throw it at somebody because you might injure them?
Yeah, they, as a season ticket holder of the Cotton Bowl, they really take care of their, and this is something you should look into if you consider yourself a college football fan, is get season tickets to the bowl in your area. Because on top of, having a good time every year with my family, you also get a lot of good perks. I get tickets to everything that's at Jerry World that isn't an NFL game. I get first crack at them. So look into your local bowl game and see what they got going on.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so what do you want to know about, Phil?
We are kicking off bowl week, bowl month, bowl season, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday, December 16th. The first game of the bowl year features my alma mater, the Georgia Southern Eagles, as they take on the Ohio Bobcats in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, played in Conway, South Carolina. Get in price for that one, guys. Believe it or not, it's actually $34.
That is cheaper than a regular season game.
34 for the get-in.
Bye. I think there's a chance that Ohio might have a home field advantage because, as somebody who grew up in the great state of Ohio, Myrtle Beach is like a required vacation destination.
Well, and
times in your life.
You see,
and as somebody who has family in the state of South Carolina, the entire state of Ohio vacations in South Carolina.
For the MAC championship game at Ford Field, our friends at the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we're a presenting sponsor of the MAC championship. So literally at the 35-yard line, you see Visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They know their target demo.
Foreshadowing.
That's good marketing, guys. That's good marketing.
You
know who I'm picking in this game. We don't even have to discuss that part because I would never pick against the alma mater.
Okay. What about the over-under of 48.5 currently?
11 o'clock start on a Saturday morning. I got to go under.
45 degrees at kickoff.
I still got to go under. Early, you're rolling out of the rack at like 6 a.m. to play a football game at 11 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on a Saturday morning in 45-degree weather. I'm taking the under.
I'm going to go with the over just because I know my boys like to throw the football around and
they won't be awake.
Run quickly. They run no huddle pretty much the entire time. Not quite as sure about Ohio, but I'm going to go with the over. Although I don't think it's going to go much over that.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the under. I think it's going to take a quarter and a half for those guys to wake up.
Game number 2 on that Saturday at 2:15 p.m. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl featuring Jacksonville State at Louisiana.
See what happens when you don't complain and get your attorney general involved? You get into a bowl game anyway.
Hey, wait.
In New Orleans, no less.
Didn't that team lose a coach that's not going to a bowl game?
I believe. Well, I mean, Rich Rod, is the head coach at Jacksonville State. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about another school, which we'll
Oh,
get to
yeah,
later.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I just got a poke every once in a while.
nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Louisiana at 215.
I'm buying that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
44.
the get in price. It's not a cheap one. Get in price for that one, $44.
It's New
Still,
Orleans.
that's the cheapest you're ever going to get into that stadium.
It's New Orleans. It's in New Orleans. You can find, and besides, you're not having to pay, and they're probably going to want folks in there pre-Christmas to fill in the hotel room. So I would say, get a hotel, make an experience of it, go see a bowl game for $44. And if you're Jacksonville State, you know that folks are going to travel from Eastern Alabama down because they got into a bowl game. Mazel tov.
Not to
And
mention,
Louisiana, and for the folks, the Louisiana folks, Lafayette is not a very far drive. It's like, what is it, 90 minutes maybe?
that's a very easy road trip if you're a Raging Cajun fan.
Yeah.
Yes, and that would be the wife's alma mater. So you know who I'm picking in that game.
Oh, absolutely. What's the total?
56.5 for the over-under.
Slanging there. Since it's indoors, I'll go over the 56.5. I'll take
Yeah,
the
Yeah, I'll go. I agree with you there.
yeah, I can see that. I like the Cajuns in that one, but I think another close game. Game number 3 on the day, the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl.
State of Ohio is owning opening bowl weekend.
the early Orlando Bowl game.
Featuring Miami, Ohio, and Appalachian State.
The Redhawks.
Get in price.
Redhawks used to be pretty bad. I'm impressed to see that they actually made it to a bowl game. By the way, you can get into that game for the low price of $26.
Buying.
Yeah, I mean,
I just love bowl season.
Yeah, and you're going to Orlando. You probably, the lines to get into the amusement parks probably aren't all that long. And once again, you make a weekend out of it. You go to the bowl game. You go down maybe on Friday, get settled. Bowl game kicks off at 3:30. Then Sunday, you go to your amusement park of choice, and then you come back home on Monday. I think that's a weekend in Orlando.
Spill it over to Monday, hit the other one that's down there as well, and it's probably going to have less lines on Monday.
That's
I just find it fascinating that it's sponsored by Mexican avocados.
Hey, everybody at this time of the year is looking for that last sponsored write-off to make sure that their taxes even out. Zero-based budgeting. So avocados from Mexico.
But the entire title is the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. So what does avocados cure?
I don't know.
Hunger?
No, but I mean, it is still attached to fighting the acknowledgement of breast cancer and its involvement with families and things like that. So it is a dual purpose. It is.
So that is reason enough to buy a ticket to that game.
See, there you go. So you're showing support for those who are fighting a battle, and Avocados from Mexico felt compelled to tie in. So there you go.
And because of my conference allegiances in college football, I cannot pick Appalachian State. I'll pick Miami of Ohio to win the game.
Of course not.
Yeah.
What's the total?
47.5 currently.
I got to go under. It's an outdoor stadium in Orlando. I'll go under.
Yeah, current projection is 71 degrees and partly cloudy.
Yeah, they'll be staring at all the great weather and everything. I'm going to go under in that one, and I'll take Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I'm never going to cheer for the Hillbillies.
5:45 on the campus of the University of New Mexico, the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl.
Some irony in this game.
Yes, no doubt. You've got some gate crashers. I mean, legitimately, Jerry Kill should be getting some recognition for Coach of the Year. I don't care.
Yes.
I find it ironic that New Mexico State is the visiting team playing in the New Mexico Bowl in their arch rival stadium.
Well, and I think that's probably why they're the visiting team and not the home team, because if they were named the home team in their rival stadium in Albuquerque, you think that there wouldn't be a furor of furorian proportions there. New Mexico State will always be the visitor at University Stadium in New Mexico. And so they just gave I bet you they just gave the home team to Fresno. Didn't matter what was going on. It's like, no, New Mexico State can never be a home team in our building. So they gave that to Fresno.
They play the Fresno State Bulldogs. Get in price for that one, $38 in the beautiful city of Albuquerque.
I'm going to pass on that one, but I'm definitely going to watch it.
Oh, no doubt. Diego Pavia, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country. Jerry Kill, doing a fantastic job at New Mexico State. So it's going to be one where you kick back and watch and get ready for the 2-night game.
I just want to see what Kill wears pregame.
Well, I mean, but that serape is part of the deal. I mean, that is something that he has fully embraced, and that created Aggie's serape that he has. That is part of the presentation. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
All
got
in.
no issue with that at all. It was an interesting look. Your night games, the Starco Brands LA Bowl featuring UCLA at Boise State.
Okay, so I did some research.
Yeah, by the way, you can also call this the Gronk Bowl.
Presenting sponsor.
Ugh.
All right, so Starco Brands at starcobrands.com, STARCO brands.com. Who we are, rules reinvented. At Starco, we believe in the business of collaboration, harnessing the power of potential to create products and experiences and moments. In a focused effort to uncover confusion and white space in popular consumer categories, we infuse those spaces with color, vibrance, and an electricity that sparks positive change. Our brands don't fall in line, they draw new ones, introducing fresh perspectives to an industry of ordinary. And then it says to explore our brands. I click on that, and there's something called Whip Shots, vodka infused whipped cream. They have something referred to as Breathe, a stainless steel polish. Winona Pure, pop goes the flavor. Nothing beats a bucket of movie theater popcorn. It is popcorn seasoning spray. What this Winona Pure, the art of sport, the #1 skincare brand for athletes. Skylar.
One of these people better advertise with this because they're getting complete shout outs on this podcast.
You're always evolving the standards for clean scent formulation, and the one, Phil, that drew your eyebrow raising, Soylent, making complete nutrition accessible, appealing, and affordable for all.
Did they actually watch that movie?
Where is Charlton Heston, and what is his level of involvement here?
Yeah, this is Marty. This is the part where you put the audio drop.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them Silent Breed is people. We gotta stop them somehow.
Oh, Soylent Green is people.
So that is Starco Brands and Gronk.
Go watch that movie, people, and then you realize why that's a bad product name.
Yeah, and you'll see that they filmed it in the concourse at then Dodger Stadium at points. So that is Starco Brands in a nutshell. They are the lead sponsor for this one. Gronk is your presenting sponsor instead of Jimmy Kimmel this year. So the LA Bowl.
Oh, wow, that's a bad trade-off.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Get-in price for that game, $49. Two mediocre teams. I don't really know who to pick here because I still hear talk that Chip Kelly may not be around to coach UCLA after this game.
I'll go Boise because of that
And
rationale.
Indianapolis is kind of in the same boat at Boise State.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of Gronk, which kind of makes me lean one way, but $49 to get into SoFi Stadium, I'm gonna buy that.
Really?
Yeah, I want to see. That's a bucket list stadium.
Okay.
That's just an amazing place, and then you want to go check out those kind of stadiums,
could
and
probably
for that
go see
price,
Well, you could probably go see a Chargers game in that stadium for a lot less money because they're a lot less entertaining.
Even though Jimmy Kimmel's not attached to it, the tradition of that bowl is just to have crazy stuff going on the side of it. So it's going to be entertaining, even if the football isn't.
I just want the dinosaur throwing up all over people. Even though that's
Might be worth just watching it on TV though, because you may not see the same thing at home or at the stadium that you would at home.
all the pre-production.
Half of that stadium is a screen, so they will. I guarantee you, they'll be seeing that there.
Yep.
And the final game of the day, Cal and Texas Tech squaring off in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana.
What's that price?
$14.
Ding, ding, ding.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yes, and it's a gambling town, so you can make your money back possibly.
It's like I'm going to invest $28 in 2 tickets. I can make that back.
Yes, you can. Plus, besides this, the winner of this game is going to have a winning record.
Yes. So Cal is awful. So by default,
6-6.
I'll go to Texas.
And Texas Tech is pretty blatantly mediocre too.
You could say they're half bad.
Yes. So I will legitimately sit there and go with Texas Tech because I've seen Cal play and they're not good.
I think this game might end up in a tie.
That would be amazing. 6-6-1 for both teams. The over-under is 58.5. What do you think about that?
Under.
No way.
Under. No way.
Are you saying Texas Tech is no longer the free-slinging team that they used to be?
No, they very well may be, but Cal is not. Cal is just hideous offensively. So that you're putting a lot of,
better than Iowa.
you're putting a lot of effort and onus on Texas Tech to carry that number, and I don't think it's going to happen.
What conference is Texas Tech in now currently?
That would be the Big 12.
Oh, what are they not known for?
Defense.
Yes.
But you're assuming that Cal. This is like the Stratomatic football game where when growing up we would sit there and try to come up with the worst rosters possible, and you'd have tacklers that would have a -3 and runners have a -4. That's what you're looking at here with this.
And if you're still listening at this point of the podcast, you probably understand that game completely.
So no. It's not going to happen. I don't think. Yeah, literally, you'd sit there and you make like the 14-team league, but you would always make sure that the guy that you were playing with, you would always register 2 of the worst teams possible. And then when the 2 of the worst teams possible played, it's like, oh, okay, so hand off to the running back. Oh, -4. And the guy who tackled him, oh yeah, he's a -5. So then literally you gain a yard because both of these guys were so bad. So no, I think that, yeah, Texas Tech, you're putting too much effort on Texas Tech to try to carry Cal through this. I got to go under.
Yeah, put it to you this way. By comparison, if you put Cal and Iowa in the same game, the over-under probably would be 10.
Oh, yikes. Can't do it. No, nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Not happening. Nope, got to go Texas Tech, but there's no way they're getting to that total.
What about a prop bet of which team will score more in their bowl game between Cal and Iowa?
Oh, well, and because
that would be an ideal one to put in your bowl season parlay.
Yes. So let's see. So all right, we're scanning down. So where's Iowa in this grid? They are playing at Tennessee. They're playing Tennessee in the Citrus.
Oh boy. Oh God, that could be ugly.
I've still got to go. No, I can't. I think that Cal scores more points than Iowa. I really do. I think Cal. I'd go Cal in that parlay. But remember, you have to
not by a lot though.
No, but still, it was a straight up question for Marty. Which team scores more points, Cal or Iowa? So I would go Cal, and remember, you have to place that juice box or a Christmas side dish. You've got to place that Christmas side dish order in by kickoff on
that has vodka whipped cream.
Yeah, so there you go. So so
that's my kind of pumpkin pie, though.
The vodka whipped cream.
Yes.
So
I'm looking into that after this podcast. As soon as we get done recording this, I'm going to get on Amazon and see if that stuff's available.
Okay. Yeah. So I ain't touching it. So I will defer to y'all as to what you feel about our friends at Starco Brands with their vodka infused whipped cream. But yeah,
and Soylent Green.
Got to go Texas Tech and Soylent Green.
I agree with John.
Charlton Heston. Absolutely.
And guys, that concludes the first round of bowl games, the first 6 games of 412.
We do have to bring one up that's out in advance that's going to be on our next episode.
Okay.
But, since we had the Army-Navy game, I want to mention supporting your armed services teams. You have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
Yes.
Right now, tickets are as low as $9.
Yeah. We'll reinforce this again next week. But
okay. You should go for 1, support your armed services. 2, boo crybabies.
Yes, James
3,
Madison Airport.
If you have zero interest in going, but like supporting armed services, you could buy these $9 tickets in bulk and donate those to VetTix.
Nice.
So I'm just throwing
like
that out
it.
there ahead of time. You can buy tickets and donate them to veterans. And then that
Nice.
organization makes sure that those tickets get in the hands of veterans and that they go to the game. And as somebody who's gone to that game before, it is an awesome spectacle. You have a band that's like an all-star band of all the armed forces, and they're all playing together. It's fun. You'll never see a better ball get delivered. They have all 4 armed services parachute into that stadium with game balls. It's amazing.
Well, yeah.
So go. If you can't go, buy tickets so somebody else can go that deserves to.
Amen. Love that.
Woo!
Like it a lot.
I'll get off my my pedestal there and stop yelling at people. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Guys, I think that's a good way to wrap things up this week. We've covered a lot of ground, and there's a lot of ground still left to cover because college football never rests. We didn't even really get a chance to get into the transfer portal.
We got plenty of time to talk portaling.
Yes, where there's some crazy stuff going on, but we can get into that next week ahead of our bowl game palooza. Time to sign things off for Brother Wilkie, who had to sign off early. For Brother Marty and Brother John, I am Brother Phil. We are part of the OSG Sports team. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you will stick it out and listen to this whole show, because if you're at this point in time, you probably have, and that you'll stay tuned and listen to next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy your holiday season. Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe and visit our website, onlinesportsguys.com. J-Dub, we miss you.